What if you could speak in a way that moves people to act, whether it's your team, your clients, or a room full of strangers? Today, I'm going to share the secrets of persuasive communication that can help you influence with integrity, not tricks. Hey, I'm Fatah Khan and I help coaches, consultants, and mid-career professionals master the communication and build authority. In this video, I'll break down 4 powerful techniques to help you speak persuasively so your words don't just get heard, they create action. Hit like, subscribe, and let's dive in. So, number 1, start with why. Persuasion begins with purpose. When people know why something matters, they are more likely to care. Before you speak, ask yourself, what's the reason, deeper reason behind my message? Share that reason first. It hooks the heart, not just the head. Example, don't just say, we need this new system. Say, we need this new system because it will save us 10 hours a week. Time that we can use to focus on our growth. Right? That is how you actually look at why. Because if you look at one of the powerful frameworks that Simon Sinek created, start with why. Right? And he talks about how great leaders inspire action. They inspire action not by starting with how, not by starting with what. They always start with why. So your purpose or your reason will help you. I always have heard from Jim Rohn that reasons come first, action come next. Right? Stronger the reason, stronger the drive to take action. So that's your number 1, starting with why. And then comes number 2, use the rule of 3. Now this is very simple. Persuasive speakers make their points easy to remember. That's where the rule of 3 comes in. People remember list of 3 for better than long explanations. You might have heard in the corporate companies, people giving sessions, people giving trainings, but you get bored. When they are on the stage, you feel like sleeping. Why does that happen? Because they don't have a structure, they don't have a format, they just go on and on and on. But if you have seen or heard the great speakers, they always follow this power of 3, which is very simple, right? For example, this change will make us faster, smarter, and stronger. Now think of it. When you hear something like this, which is just talking to you about 3 benefits, now you know these are the only 3 things that you are expecting. You're not looking at too many things. You're not feeling overwhelmed. You know specifically what are the 3 things. That is the power of 3. And the tip is to break the complex ideas. Any complex idea you take, break it into 3 clear benefits or reasons. Because when your audience or the people around you are able to see the benefits or reasons, it is always amazing. So it's always the power of 3. Don't try to make it like random. Don't try to just have a longer explanation. Try to break it in 3. Now comes the third one. Build emotional connection. I've always heard this. Emotions sell, right? Facts tell, emotions sell. Right? And this is true. Think of it. Anything that you have purchased till now, I'm sure all those decisions would be based on emotions, because we human beings, we buy based on emotions. Then we apply logic to it. Whether you have bought your dream home, whether you bought your dream car, or whatever you bought, right? Go back, right? Take a minute, reflect, and think of it. Whether it was the decision made by you or made by your partner, made by your parents, think of it. Where did this decision come from? Right? Of course, we want to apply the logic later to justify to ourselves, justify to others. But it is always emotions. So the most powerful message that I want you to get is emotions sell. The facts, right? When you talk about the facts, the statistics, many a times statistics actually start boring people. If you have seen presentations where they talk about a lot of data, what happens? Data will make you interested, or data and numbers make you feel bored after some time. But stories, emotions, they make you feel engaged. And that's where emotions sell. If you want to influence, make people feel, share stories, not just statistics. Use the words that spark emotion, like imagine, struggle, breakthrough, right? Make them feel that, right? And show empathy. Because if you can't show that empathy, if you can't reflect on their hopes, challenges, or fears, they will not feel connected with you. Example, I know many of you have felt frustrated by slow processes. I have too. That's why this solution matters. And if I have to give a practical example, like I myself struggled with communication skills. I was thrown out of my first job within less than 2 months because of my poor communication skills. When I talk about my emotions, my feelings, how did I feel when I was thrown out of my first job? And why do I do this, right? Of course, if you see, there is a reason why I'm doing this. The start with why, whatever we spoke about. And there is emotions connected to it. Like there are emotions, the reason, the very reason, the strong reason why I'm actually helping people in terms of communication skills. And when you are able to resonate, that's when you connect with me. And that is where emotions, share your journey, share your story so that people can resonate and connect with you. And comes number 4, call to action with clarity. Now, whatever you share, there should be a call to action. And that is where persuasion comes place. That is where persuasive communication comes into play. It always ends with clear direction. Don't leave people wondering what to do next, right? Be specific, like let's schedule this by Friday. Let me give you with a practical example. When I started my content journey in the year 2019, I was doing content regularly, but honestly, I was not getting any traction from there because I did content, but there was no structure to it. And most importantly, there was no call to action in that. I did not give any call to action to them, like join my webinar, join my workshop, or read this book, or take this action, right? Do this specific activities. I did not give them any call to action. So it was just like leaving them with certain message without even giving a call to action. But when I started changing my approach, and of course it took me over a period of time learning from different coaches, mentors, reading different books, and that's when I understood the most important thing about call to action. And not just call to action, it's about the clarity in the call to action. Because when you confuse people, what happens? As they say, confused minds don't buy. Whether it is your idea, whether it is your book, whether it is your service, whether it's your product, people will not be able to buy. So you need to have a clear call to action. And that's where be specific. Like if you have to schedule a call, don't say, let's schedule it this week. Let's schedule it this by Friday, right? Let's schedule it on Saturday. Let's schedule it at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Be specific about whatever it is and make it simple. All I need is a quick yes or no. Like keep it simple for the audience or people in terms of something which is closed-ended. Here you can bring some closed-ended communication. All I want is a quick yes or no. Whether they say yes, you proceed further. If they say no, then probably you look for somebody else, talk to somebody else. And that is where you do this and tie it back to their benefit. Now think of it. Everyone has something in their mind. You know what is that? They have this question, what is in it for me? And whenever you are talking to people, right? Whenever you are persuading people, think of what is their benefit and tie whatever you're talking or whatever services, product you're talking about to their benefit. Because once I heard the story from Seafood Analog about a car dealer, right? One car dealer, whenever there are customers coming into the car showroom, he talks about all the benefits about the cars, the different features, the benefits. But then there is another car dealer who is talking about the benefit that can provide to the customer, understanding the customer needs and the benefits that they can have, right? Specifically, if somebody is looking for an economical car, somebody is looking for maybe a sedan, somebody is looking for something for their family, somebody is looking for a long drive, looking at that and talking specifically about their benefit. So tie it back to their benefit. This will free up your time for what really matters rather than you going here and there, right? You just stick to the point. And then the bonus tip is influence with integrity. Now, true influence isn't about manipulation. It's about service. When your intention is to help, people sense it and your words have greater power. Before you speak, ask, how does this truly serve them? Because there is a thin line between persuasion and manipulation. Persuasion is what you do for others' benefit. Of course, there's a win-win. You win and the other person wins. Whereas manipulation is for selfish benefit. You want to do it for yourself so that you win and the other person loses. So manipulation, say no to it, and persuasion is the greatest skill that you can ever learn, because persuasion is an art, but it's one you can practice and master by following the right ethics and having integrity. So if you want to learn more, comment, right? What is that actually you got as a tip from here, or which tip actually helped you in terms of taking it to your next meeting or your next persuasion talk that you can actually go ahead and do. And check the description for my free guide, or invite to my communication masterclass where you can join this. And if this video has helped you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who wants to speak to influence. Thank you.